This is a preview of Activity 4.6 Monologues, specifically for our Nearpod assignment that goes along with 4.6 in Springboard. Let's learn about monologues. A couple things you might need: your device, headphones if desired, and your Springboard book to look at. It's also usually always helpful to have something to write with and write on nearby, unless you have small critters constantly stealing your pens or fetching pens for you. Our objectives today, we're going to be analyzing two monologues from literature using the SMELL strategy. It's called the SMELL strategy because that's what it spells out, S-M-E-L-L. You can also see this on Springboard on pages 304 and 305. We need to make sure that we can understand how developing and presenting an oral interpretation of a dramatic text impacts the meaning of that text for the people who are viewing it or reading it. So here's what we have to do. We need to understand the modeled monologue. We need to respond to the for-kid and cast questions, and have completed the SMELL chart to analyze a monologue from Oedipus Rex. So the only one you are specifically going to be in charge of is Oedipus Rex. The other one we are going to help you out with. So in this activity, we're going to take a look at two monologues. So what is a monologue? A monologue is a long speech by one actor in a play or movie. So we're going to be taking a look at two. First one is by Mark Antony. It's his monologue from the play The Tragedy of Julius Caesar. So he is one major character in the play, and he is going to have his own monologue. The second one is going to be Oedipus's monologue from the play Oedipus Rex. So here's Mark Antony's monologue. It's below. It's also on pages 298 to 299, and you guys are going to have an example of this read aloud. You can also, if you have access to Springboard Digital, play the audio of this scene. Now we have an example right here. You can listen to this monologue being performed. This is by a professional actor. Always wait for the open-ended question animation to play, and we can see our first question. How does the opening of Antony's monologue appeal to the skeptical crowd? The crowd's really not sure about the things that are happening. Caesar was a leader, their leader, a really great military leader, and he's been killed, but they've also been told that he was overly ambitious and grabbing power. So how is Antony trying to appeal to these confused, skeptical people? What specific methods does he use to appeal to them? And remember, we need complete sentences with evidence and commentary. So if you want to go back and you want to re-listen to this, or if you need to go back and reread and gather your evidence, you can always do that. In this open-ended question, you also have your text box that's already there. So you can start off, Antony appeals to the crowd by... What does he do? Is he insulting them? Is he reminding them of things? Is he asking them questions? Is he making them less worried about their fears? What is he doing? And then see if you can find some evidence and explain it in commentary to tell us what exactly is he doing and what is the effect. Once you have that, always make sure you hit the Save or Submit button if you have one at the bottom of your screen, and go on to the next blue arrow. Next open-ended question, what effect does repetition have on the speech? So you're going to see some things repeated, words, phrases repeated multiple times. What words and phrases are repeated and what is the effect? So you can start off, some words that are repeated include this has the effect of. So that's just an example. Of course, you can phrase it however you like. Just try for those complete sentences. We can think of the example of this if you guys remember the poem Hanging Fire, where it often repeated the phrase, and Mama's in the bedroom with the door closed. And it just had this effect of, wow, No one's listening. No one's here to help this person. Mama's in the bedroom with the door closed. Not even in the same room, not even with the door open, and that's the only parent figure mentioned. So think about the repeated words in this monologue and think about what's the effect. Why does he keep mentioning this one part? In here, we have an explanation of this section, the close analysis, and then the response and textual evidence. So you can click the button here to hear more about that. This one, you're going to have some more instruction as well. Click the play button to hear what's going on with it. But we do have some information about Antony and some examples of evidence. This is the M, the message part of the smell. So if we take a look here, you can press the play button. You are again going to have some info about Brutus, who appears to be an honorable man, and an example of some evidence. This is the same thing, but with the E, emotional strategies. Make sure you're pressing the arrow play here to get some context and some example evidence. This is the L for logical strategies in the smell chart, so the first L. Make sure we're clicking here to get the example from this monologue. And this is the last L, language, the type of language that's being used. Of course, in this case, it's English, but why those specific words? So again, click here to hear more about it and see the example that you'll get. Now here's another monologue. This dramatic monologue is from the play Oedipus Rex by Sophocles, the guy we have heard about a little bit and we're going to hear more about. And this is also on Springboard pages 303 to 304. So here's the passage here, and down at the bottom you can click the play button to hear more. Here's an open-ended question. What does the decree that Oedipus gives the city of Thebes reveal about him as a ruler? So this is going to be a law that he makes for his city. What kind of ruler is he for making such a law? Is he strict or lenient? What words from his speech support that conclusion? And again, complete sentences, evidence, and commentary. So you can always go back and see your text evidence here and include that in your response. So maybe you'll start out the decree that Oedipus gives the city shows that he is what kind of ruler is he? For example, he says this. So again, make sure you have your complete sentences, evidence, and then your commentary. Okay, how does that make him a strict leader? How does that make him lenient or laid back or chill? Is he the most #chill person in the world? You tell us. Another open-ended question on slide 17. What are the effects of the colon and the dashes used in Oedipus' speech? And then you can use your springboard for support if needed. So just a quick review. Colon is going to look like this. So we've got the dot on the top, dot on the bottom. The dashes are going to look like longer hyphens going on here. So what is it that they're doing? Is it making them pause? Is it adding information? Is it making something sound more dramatic? And again, make sure we're looking for complete sentences here. So you can say the colon makes it look like this. The dashes make it sound like that. So now we're going to get into filling out our own chart. So we're going to use the smell strategy to analyze this monologue now that we have given you the model monologue from Julius Caesar. So just like we've done before, we're going to use the text box option, the little TT button, to draw the appropriate text boxes. So this is just the same chart as before. And we can click down here, drag into our response. So for sender-receiver relationship, who are the senders and receivers of the message? So we could have the sender is, and the receiver is, their relationship is it between a father and a son? Is it between a king and his crowd? Is it between an advisor and a king? So let us know. You're going to do the same thing for messages. So again, grab another text box here, drag it there. What's a literal summary of the content and what's the meaning or significance? You're going to do the same thing with emotional strategies, logical strategies, and language. So one quick stretch, make sure you are taking care of yourself. A little image will load here as well. And then our very last piece. Soon you will be preparing and recording your own monologue. Why do you think planning an oral performance, that's you acting, speaking, of monologue, can help you understand the meaning of the text? So down here, you're just going to put your ideas, and you can even share some images. You can look them up, or you can drop images or tap on them to show them here. And make sure you have posted something. And that is the end. Kid President is congratulating you for finishing your activity 4.6 Nearpod.